My name is Mitka Potocznik. I'm one of the F-List directors. I'm the lead of the research hub with the F-List, and I'm also an academic based in Wolverhampton. And I do intellectual property law, so I research focusing on intellectual property law in music, and from a feminist perspective. And I would like to introduce you to everyone who will be having a few chats with me about songwriting as method and using songwriting in research. So if I could ask Rejoice to introduce herself first.
Hello, everyone. I hope you're well. My name is Rejoice. I'm a graduate law student. I specialize in IP law, music law, media law, anything down that aisle. I also have researched in legal studies, and I'm also an artist. So I write music, I create music, I love music. So that's me.
Thank you, Rejoice. Naisha, could I go to you next, please?
Hi everyone, my name's Naisha Givens and I am a PhD student in education over at the University of Wolverhampton. My research looks at marginalised communities and how they navigate through education, and I'm interested in utilising songwriting as a method.
Thank you, Naisha. And Vic, could I also go to you?
Hello, I'm Vic Bain. I've worked in various parts of the music industry for the past 30 years. I originally started off as a musician, then very quickly moved into the business side, and I'm working on a PhD looking at women's careers in the UK music industry.
Thank you, Vic. And this is such a great combination of expertise and lived experience that we have in the room. So, what we're going to be looking to explore a little bit in a series of recordings is this idea of power in research, the narrative power, the storytelling power, and not perhaps in those traditional notions of musicology or even the arts. So, we are interdisciplinary researchers coming from different backgrounds, but we're interested in the power of songwriting as a research method. And this is why we've sort of come together to do the SAM project, so Songwriting as Method, where everyone on the call was involved, but we're also working under the great leadership of Dr. Joe Collinson Scott to figure out how songwriting as a research method could be used under the broad umbrella of a feminist methodology and used to empower narratives and people who have been marginalized in research, in policy making, in development of business models, and across all so many different sectors. Songwriting as Method has started in February 2025 and it ran until July 2025. So it was a very brief research project because we're trying to just set up the foundations of it. And we're going to have academic publications coming out of that. And we're creating a few resources on the Music Career Toolkit for the F-List with the hope that if anyone has an interest in using songwriting as a method, but they're not a songwriter, so they're not the ones writing songs themselves, but maybe they're interested in this transformative power that we know exists due to Professor Sophie Daniels and all of her community and everything we've learned in the past few years about the power of a song. So, Songwriting as Method was us coming together as academics and asking those questions. Well, what would it look like, songwriting as method? We know what songs are, or do we? Is this broadly accepted, or do we question those concepts? We talked about different methodologies and how we build knowledge in academia. We heard from women who use songs in their own research, in their autoethnographic research. So we heard from Lucy Barca and we heard from Monet Allison about their valuable projects, and they're both on the F-List database as well, if you ever wanted to look at their work. So Songwriting as Method is something we're developing, and we're hoping to use songwriting in different areas. So for me, it would be copyright law. You could think about, different areas of family law, criminal law, but of course also in business studies and everywhere really where you can see and identify marginalized researcher, marginalized communities not having the voice to speak up. And the reason why we're speaking about it in this format now is because we've had not songwriting as method, but we had the practical experience of putting musicians, songwriters together with people who had a story to tell. So we paired songwriters, the people with talent and know-how, we put them together with the storytellers who have the narrative contribution, their lived experience, a message they wanted to share with the world. And we've done that really successfully through the That's Me project that resulted. So that was a project at University of Wolverhampton, partnered with Birmingham City University. It was running for the past 5 years. So it's finishing now at the end of 2025, which is also the time of this recording. And we ended up with an EP. So we have 6 songs within the Feathers EP that led us to believe that songwriting as method going forward, even though Feathers EP is not a research project in the sense that we had a research question we aimed to answer with the songwriting method, but we know the power of it because we partnered songwriters and storytellers together. So I think that will be enough probably at this point, just in terms of the project itself. And there will be a series of recordings when we're looking at different aspects and questions we thought it might be helpful to share with everyone. But right now, could I ask Rejoice, just what was your role on the project, the Feathers EP?
Yes, so I was a songwriter for the Feathers EP. So I partnered with my storytellers, one of them who is on the call, and I was just able to have studio sessions with them, talking about their story, seeing how I could mix my musical ideas and skills to make a song out of it. So that was my role.
And if I could just do a follow-up question. So I
Yeah.
know you sort of were writing the song, so you were the songwriter in that copyright sense. Did you do any performance? Did you do any vocals, any of the instruments as well?
Yes, yes, I did. So I did sing for some of it, but I love how even in every stage it was very collaborative because even the storytellers, they were partly like writing the song as well, so it was kind of hand in hand. So yeah, I played the guitar for the songs. I did vocals for the songs, just like mixing it, putting it together, all that good stuff.
Brilliant. Thank you, Rejoice. So Naisha, what was your role on the project?
I was on the project as a student co-creator. I worked on this work stream and another work stream. I was also involved as a storyteller. So my background is a lot of creative writing, and I find it really cathartic just to be able to express myself. So I was fortunate to be partnered with Rejoice as with Chiago. And I'm looking forward to explaining how the two partnerships went. It was really interesting going through the process of writing the song and then coming to recording day and then singing on the song as technically a non-singer. Um, so yeah, I'm looking forward to just explaining and going through that and encouraging more people who are non-songwriters to step forward. In the words of Professor Sophie Daniel, there's always what did she say? There's always one more song in you. And I just think that's really important. I think that's what I kind of take forward now. And I should have probably left that for reflection, but it's really stuck with me.
Thank you, Naisha. So Vic, just a final thought on this recording. So what excites you about this method, maybe as a business researcher, right? So within your discipline, and you joined us on the SAM project, so Songwriting as Method project, as one of our experts. So what do you think is just interesting about this method, really, Songwriting as Method?
For, for me, yeah, having sort of specialized in business and business studies, even if I work in the music industry, it's very formal, very corporate, very structured, very male dominated research approach. And through my MBA, I did an MBA 10, 12 years ago, and research approaches, yeah, they're very non-creative. Even if you have to have, some level of creativity in your style of writing, it has to be in a very particular format and particular way. So this intrigues me because I'm really thinking, well, what do I do beyond my PhD? How could there be different ways of researching women's careers in music in a more creative way, and going back to my original training 30 years ago. So I'm observing and learning a lot.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. So this brings us to a close of our first recording. Hopefully we will unpack it all in the next few sessions. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Vic Bain, and I'm the founder of the F List for Music, which is a community interest company set up in 2020. At the F List, we support women and gender diverse musicians, helping them overcome barriers in their music careers through community training, profile, and professional opportunities. Our most visible project is an online directory, now has over 6,200 listings. So the music industry can find incredible and diverse talent in the UK. So the biggest challenges for artists right now, I think there are three of them. Number one, having the right team around you, especially for women, and staying safe is key. Then number two, understanding how the industry works, knowing your rights, how to get paid, and so on. And then the third one is becoming visible, being found, seen, and heard. Now, social media has revolutionized music discovery. Before the 2000s, musicians needed to go through industry gatekeepers, which were often white men, to be heard. And now anyone can be heard. But platforms still have barriers too, and they're often not safe spaces for women or gender diverse musicians. And we know there are barriers to inclusion in real life. In 2022, the BBC published research showing that only 13% of festival headliners in the UK were women. So that's why we're thrilled to support 8Fest. It's a safe platform for women and gender diverse musicians, and I can't wait to see who will be performing.